Om Ganapati Ganapati Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspat Anashranvanmutivisedasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhyurvajinivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadittamastu ma vidvishvavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies illumine our intellects. May we not contradict or hate each other. Om peace, peace, and peace. Sister Deepika.
Om Sai Ram. Thank you, Sister Manu, for that lovely prayer. My humble pranams firstly at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters. First and foremost, I just want to say a very heartfelt thank you to our sweet Lord for giving us this really wonderful opportunity to be a part of this beautiful satsang, and in the form of this webinar series called VedaRasa. We are so grateful to the dedicated Vedas for All team for arranging this and designing it so perfectly to help us to deepen our understanding of the Vedas, and in particular the chants that we are learning, so that we may hopefully get just that much closer to actually tasting that eternal sweetness of the Vedas. As Bhagwan Baba has said, the Vedas are the source of all knowledge, encompassing all the truths of the universe. But Swami also emphasized that only when the senses are controlled can we experience true knowledge and bliss. So it makes sense that tonight we will be exploring the chant called Ganapati Prarthana. And this is dedicated to Lord Ganapati, who is the supreme master of our senses. Thank you all for joining in this satsang and making the satsang possible. Tonight's agenda will begin with our dear sister Manu, who will take us through the first half of the Ganapati Prarthana, and this will be followed by a fun quiz led by Brother Kashen. Thereafter, Sister Lingus has lovingly agreed to help us navigate through the inner meaning of Ganapati Prarthana, and we will then end with another short and fun quiz facilitated again by Brother Kashen. At this point, we may all have the opportunity to ask any questions that we may have before we conclude with the concluding prayers. So without any further delay, I would like to hand you over to Sister Manu, who will begin this exciting journey through Ganapati Prarthana. Thank you, Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram. I offer my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our Sadguru and Lord Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram, dearest brothers and sisters. First of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to brothers Kabir and Kashen and anybody else who helped sisters Lingus and I. This is our first attempt, and we really are so grateful to those who are assisting us. because, technologically, I'm not so savvy. But we must also remember that we are mere instruments and Swami is the doer. Sister Deepika, thank you. You already went through the program, what it will be consisting of. So I'm going to go straight onto something. And you also spoke about the fact that brothers and sisters can ask questions at the end. They can put it into the chat box. And they are also most welcome to add any detail that we may have missed out, right? So without any further ado, I would like Brother Kashen to show the video.
With dirt from her body, she made a human mannequin, and by chanting mantras, gave life to that mannequin. And with his first breath, the boy asked from Goddess Parvati, "Who am I?" "You are my son Ganesh. I'm going for a shower. You stay here and keep a watch until the time I'm not done with my shower. Make sure that you don't let anyone come here." "As you say, mother." Ganesh with a spear started guarding at the door, and after some time, when God Shiva came back after destroying demons, he thought,
"First of all, I shall give this news to Parvati."
But as soon he reached the bathing room to give news to Parvati, Ganesh stopped him and said, "Please wait. As per instructions by mother, I cannot permit anyone to enter. Therefore, you're not allowed to enter the bathing room."
"Who are you? And why aren't you allowing me to enter the bathing room?"
"Forget my introduction and better go away from here." Shiva became very furious after hearing these words from Ganesh.
"Naughty child, you will surely get punishment for this."
Saying this, Shiva attacked Ganesh with his trident. Ganesh too picked up his spear, and a battle started between both of them. If God Shiva was the god of the gods, then God Ganesha was also made by Adi Shakti, Goddess Parvati. Therefore, immense battle went on for long between both of them. Fearing the effect of this battle, God Brahma and God Vishnu along with all the deities came to Kailash mountain.
"Mahadev, please stop this war." "Son Ganesh, please ask for forgiveness from Mahadev for this offense of yours."
Rather than me, he should ask for forgiveness, who after hearing instructions from my mother still wants to enter her bathing place. If he asks for forgiveness, only then I will forgive him. Hearing this, Shiva became very furious, and worried God Brahma said to God Ganesh,
"Please accept your mistake, son. Otherwise, no one will be able to save you from the wrath of God Shiva."
"Rather than my protection, I'm more concerned about my duty."
"Please don't interfere. God Brahma, I shall surely punish this naughty child."
With the attack of the trident, God Ganesha's head got separated from his body. "Mother!" And flying over the sky, it fell on planet Mars. On hearing groaning voice of God Ganesh, Goddess Parvati came out from her bathing place. She became very sad by seeing dead body of Ganesh lying on the floor. She cried and said, "Son Ganesh, Mahadev, you've done this very wrong. Make my son alive again."
Out of anger, you have done a very wrong act. Therefore, you have to make Ganesha alive again.
And by now, Shiva's anger also subsided. He said to Goddess Parvati,
"My dear, due to attack from my trident, his head had fallen on the planet Mars. And to tell you the truth, chopped head can't be matched with the body again. So please forgive me, my dear. It's impossible to make Ganesh alive again."
Hearing this, Goddess Parvati became very furious. "Mahadev, if my Ganesh isn't alive again, then out of my anger I will burn the entire world." On this, God Brahma thought for a while and said,
"Mahadev, we can make Ganesh alive again. Head of a boy who hasn't been chopped by our trident, we can fix it with the body of Ganesh. Therefore, Mahadev, instruct your disciples that from the north direction they shall bring head of a boy whose head is facing north direction and whose mother is sleeping by placing her back on him.
Along with God Shiva, all the gods and deities agreed to this advice. God Shiva instructed his disciples. Having instructions, all the disciples headed for the north direction. After covering long distance, as per instructions given by God Brahma, they saw a child of an elephant.
This baby elephant's head is facing north, and his mother is also sleeping facing her back towards his head.
Disciples came back with baby elephant's head to Kailash mountain. God Shiva fixed baby elephant's head with the body of Ganesh, and Ganesh became alive again. Goddess Parvati became very happy by watching Ganesh alive, but became bit sad too by watching elephant's head on her son's body. Why did you place an elephant's head on my son's body? Now everyone in the world will make fun of my son. On this, God Shiva gave a boon to God Ganesh.
From today onwards, before beginning of any auspicious work, our son Ganesh will be worshipped, and he will be famous by the name Mangal Murti.
Hearing this, Goddess Parvati became very happy. She gave a warm hug to her son, and God Shiva also did the same. Like this, God Ganesh was born and he became famous by the name Mangal Murti.
Thank you. I do hope that you enjoyed that video. This is actually a legend which was followed from time immemorial. And now we know why Lord Ganesha is always worshipped first at any function or ritual or prayer. And now I'm going to go straight onto the Ganesha principle. I'm going to do the first 3 lines or 2 lines. Okay. I'll chant the line first and then explain its meaning. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gumhavanaye Kavin Kavina Mupamashravastamam. Over there, lines 1 and 2, that is. We are invoking this awareness that's present in us. Gana. Gana means senses. And this awareness that we are invoking is the master of all our senses. He is the supreme awareness or consciousness or master of all our senses. Now, here is Lord Ganapati, who is the master of all our senses, whom we are invoking from within us to be present at our function. The next line, Kaving Kavina, Kaving Kavina Mupamashravastamam. He is also the poet of all poets, and he is the knower of all knowledge. Next line, Jayeshtarajam Brahmana Brahmanaspata Anash Shrunvanutibisida Sadhanam. Now here, he is also the king of all kings that know Lord Brahman. Now isn't this truly amazing? We have the master of all our senses, the poet of all poets, the king of all kings that know Brahman, and the knower of all knowledge. And all this is in us, within us. And now, before this function or event or ritual, we are invoking this awareness from within us. That is what we are saying. Okay, in the last line, Shrunvanutibisi dasadhanam, we are saying, please come and be present before us and listen to all what we are saying or watch all what we are doing or performing. We must feel the presence of this awareness that we have invited. By reciting these lines, we make ourselves aware of that supreme consciousness. One may ask this question, Why are we invoking something which is already present in us? Because we are not even aware of this. Are we aware that we have this master of this supreme consciousness who is the master of all our senses, who is the king of all the kings, who is the poet of all the poets, who is also the knower of all the knowledge, so powerful. And he is within us, and we are invoking that supreme consciousness to come and sit and watch or listen before we start a function or an event or a prayer. Sometimes we may have an idol or a picture, most times though, and we'll be looking at that picture or the idol and invoking, or we would be chanting those lines as if we are invoking all the consciousness from that idol or the picture. But that is not so. What is the picture then used for, or the idol when we are doing a prayer or a chant? Or sometimes we close our eyes, which is the right thing to do. Now that idol picture helps us because of our mind that sometimes runs away. So to be focused and to concentrate on what we are doing, we use this idol or we use a picture of Lord Ganesha. Okay? So now we are very, very powerful. We have this. Now I chanted the Ganapati Prarthana at the beginning, and then I did remember that I have to be aware that I am invoking this supreme consciousness from within me to come and sit, and even all of you, to sit and listen to our webinar. That's what I did at the beginning. We're going to now hand over to Brother Kashin for the quiz, a short quiz, and then you can put your answers down.
Loving greetings, your brothers and sisters. Thank you so much, Auntie Mano, for that beautiful explanation. So as you spoke about awareness, let's see if everyone was paying attention and was being aware and in the moment. So the first question for the quiz is, what does Ganapati mean? So a poll will come up where you can choose your answer. So is it A, does it mean master of the senses? Is it B, does it mean knower of all knowers? Is it C, remover of all obstacles? Or is it D, the Supreme King? So the poll should be visible to everyone, and then you can just choose your answer accordingly. So just to repeat again, what does Ganapati mean? Is it A, the master of the senses? Is it B, the knower of all knowers? Is it C, the remover of obstacles? Or is it D, the Supreme King?
Tough question.
So it looks like almost everyone has voted.
The right answer.
The right answer is A, which is the master of the senses. So Gana meaning senses and Pati meaning master of all the senses. So now I hand back to Auntie Manu, take us through to Auntie Lingus.
Right. Sister Lingus will now continue. Sister Lingus will also add to this meaning of the first 3 lines. She's got some details there which were very, very interesting. I now hand you over to Sister Lingus. Thank you, Sister Lingus.
My humble salutations at the lotus feet of Swami, and Om Sai Ram to you, Prema Swarupa Lara, divine bhaktas of Sai. Thank you for the Veda team and Sister Manu, who is co-hosting this with me. I really do appreciate it. And for you affording us this golden opportunity to share some gems of Swami. We should not neglect the Vedas, says Swami in 2006. The secret of the entire creation is contained in them. They reveal to us the purpose and goal of life. So today we delve even deeper into the Vedas and soak ourselves in this particular mantra, the Ganapati Prarthana, and some secrets today will be revealed to us in them. Every syllable, every word, every sentence, and the complete verse is packed with beautiful energy, raising our awareness and frequency, and to share this not only with our fellow beings, but the entire creation. So if you look at this particular slide, and thank you, Sister Manu, for that beautiful input. If you look at the slide here, I'm going to add a little bit. So when we look at the word Gana, Gana can mean group, batches, gang. In Sanskrit, it also can mean to count. And I'm going to take us to other religions and how much similar the philosophy is. In the Bible, Jesus is the benevolent shepherd, the lovely flowing green and pastures lush, the flock of sheep graze, the pastor caring and with tender love. As a shepherd, he draws the stray miscreants back into the fold, just like Ganapati. Even Lord Krishna, the cowherd, keeps the cows within his range. For the word cow, comes from the Sanskrit word gam, meaning to go. So deeper introspection reveals this, depicting the wayward mind of the cow. So he plays this beautiful flute and melody and draws them to his divine fold and protects them. Gana too means to count. Gana, count, and Isha, God, Ganesha. Also, the Lord and Master of the universe protects us such. He counts his flock to ensure that no one goes astray. It is our mind and senses that leads us astray. And within this flock of God, who guides and helps us persevere through this journey of life, despite the rocky terrain, we too need God in our lives, like the sheep, like the cow. And we need our master, our ruler, our governor, our guide, our royal king. So we move on to the next slide.
Saram, Sister Lingus, we can't hear you.
Seriously, you didn't hear me at all?
No, we just said after the next slide, we didn't hear you at.
Okay, all right, okay. So also the slide here, we need to ponder on the word Om. In the Rig Veda, and this particular mantra comes from the Rig Veda, chapter 2, 23:1. Every Rig Veda mantra begins with Om because it speaks of the omnipresence of God, the formless God. And in the Vedas itself, there is no form of God. Every word there is packed with super deep meaning. Om is all-pervasive, omnipresent entity, that supreme entity that is found in every drop of water, in every grain of sand, the sound vibration of the supreme entity of God, that maybe with our physical eyes we may not see, but our inner eye can. So when we speak about Hava, my hair, so I'm just touching on Sister Manu's parts, okay, just adding to it. So when we speak about Hava, my hair, we think about offering, and this offering comes with sacrifice. Now, Hava, like Havis, is all the samagri and the sameda, the wood, and so on, and the ghee, and all of that we think about that as the most important thing. But these are just physical things, right? What is important is as we sit to offer or stand wherever we are, whatever sacrifices we make, there has to be that this energy coming from within, this awareness that connects with the supreme consciousness. When we sit to pray, there has to be this feeling of connection. If there isn't this feeling, then that prayer was not really a prayer. So therefore, distractions by mind and senses should be curtailed, should be channeled like the reins of a horse that has to, or the blinkers of a horse that has to be channeled to just go straight to one pointed focus. So before I come to the bulb, I'd just like to say, when we speak about Upamashtabastamam, it means uppermost. Now, in Sanskrit, in normal English, you'll find there are 3 degrees of comparison: the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. Here, the superlative is used. Nothing is beyond this. It is the highest. So when we have to pray, we always keep God in the forefront, in the most supreme position, because he's the most prestigious amongst everything. So here, when we think of God as highest, we too, as we sit to pray, will aspire to be the highest, to aspire to be the greatest, not in fame that brings physical glory and is only relative to the earth, the physical plane, but that can take us beyond. So when we place a seat, and we'll say, we're going to place Ganesha Murti in front because it's important for this prayer that he should be given that noble position. And so we place the seat. Whilst our mind is wandering everywhere, we don't even acknowledge that that omnipresent Lord is seated on that seat. So where is he seated then? Whilst that seat is in front and you acknowledge him, Swami has said, this is my form, but go beyond my form, because my form will be no more. It only goes as far as this earthly plane. So Swami himself is omnipresent. So where do you find the greatest, most comfortable Gama seat for Swami? It's in the softness of our heart. So become aware that your heart is a seat. So when you say, see the sadhanam, you are asking him, invoking him to take that seat where? In the forefront of you, in your heart. There has to be, the mantra is not a superficial thing. It's not a mechanical thing. There has to be this thirst. There has to be this yearning. And if there's this yearning and this thirst, then God will quench it. So, whilst this life, when they say Saraswati, okay, let's go to Pranaha first. Pranaha, the vital breath, the life force, that vital breath is within each one of us. Without that, there won't be inhalation, exhalation, circulation, digestion, excretion. All of this would be a total imbalance in the body if something of that goes off. But this great breath has breathed his breath into us. And we must respect that breath and not abuse it. We must respect that life force, because within this body is that life force, this temple of God. And so often we abuse this temple that contains this breath. And this breath is breathed into everything in creation. And that is why it has to be respected, acknowledged, and revered. The plants and the animals. So when we sacrifice for God, we should never think that any prayer means sacrificing his creatures, his creation, needlessly. God doesn't want that. He wants our vices. He wants our sense control. He wants our detachment. So all of these things here can lead us astray. So God also is the Shakti energy, the feminine energy. So the opposite of Devi, so Devi is the Shakti energy, is Deva, God and Goddess. So these opposites unite as a divine entity. They're inseparable. They are one. We all have that energy within us. Saraswati, beautiful, beautiful word in Sanskrit. It's called the dative case, to offer. Offer from within you. For God. to Saraswati. Sarati means to flow. Rasa is this juice, this flavor, so enjoyable that it quenches our thirst within. Not the physical juice. This is the nectar of God. This love for God must flow like a river. Don't pick and choose. Continuously. So when we're sitting in prayer, we must feel this flow of energy. Otherwise, the prayer becomes pointless. So don't think if we just place Ganesha Murti, that's only a symbol of what is to become of us, of what we have to attain at the end of that prayer or that mantra. So this river here, as you can see, has lots of boulders, lots of obstacles. But the river strains itself, bypassing these obstacles or hurtling over them, straining to reach the ocean, our ultimate goal. So this is the flow that we must experience. No matter what turbulence experienced in our life, and there will be after all, how can God test our strengths? Really, this is an examination in this university of life. There has to be these boulders and these rocks to test the rock, the steadiness, the firmness, like the Himalayas of our faith, that the Himalayas can weather any storm. That is why during a wedding ceremony, Hindu wedding ceremony, they have a piece of rock where the bridal couple place their feet, so that marriage also can withstand anything that comes their way. Together, they can surf the sea. So this thirst has to be quenched by the love, quenched by the Master. If we open our heart to receive, you cannot receive if our heart is full of everything else. You can only receive with an open heart that's flowing, continuously flowing. So never ever look at this mantra superficially, because you'll only get something artificial out of it. It goes very, very deep, that we must feel this mantra. We must become this mantra. We must absorb it into every cell of our being. Vaje bihi. Bihi in Sanskrit means with or by. By the energizer, the one who energizes us. I mean, really, if we did not have Swami, if we did not have this Lord guiding and inspiring us and doing the right thing, we won't have the energy. Energy comes from always doing the right thing, from following dharma, from being positive. Vajinivati, of all the energizing powers, that power is not only in God, He planted it in each one of us. We need to draw on this power continuously to face whatever we have before us. Tinam means, with great reference to buddhi, which is the intellect. Remember, man has been endowed with this proxy of being able to reason. He has been differentiated from the animal kingdom that operates according to instinct, very low consciousness. But He has endowed us with the intellect so that we can discriminate between right and wrong. But each time we do something wrong, we fall prey to our senses. Then the dust begins to collect and the rust begins to collect, and it needs the shining, and it needs the dusting, and it needs the sadhana continuously. As we interact with the world, we find that something sticks like magnet on us, and we need to remove this. So like that electric bulb that we had seen, this bulb that is encased in this glass, which is the buddhi, and that current that runs through it is that supreme consciousness. We need to connect it into the socket, right? We need to be connected to that socket so that our buddhi too can be illumined. Now, Avitri, right, we'll say, for example, we say Avitriyavatu. So Avitri, the I plus the A will give you a Y, a Y. That is why it's called Avitriyavatu. So the Avitri is the feminine of avatar. Avatar, masculine. So again, you see this one unifying energy. Avatu means to protect, like Jesus drew the fold, drew all the sheep to his fold out of his compassion and love. And so did Krishna with his beautiful melodious music. So too, God, Ganeshaya, for Ganesha. And again, an offering, a salutation to this Lord who's drawing us into his fold. And then we spoke about Ganapati. Ganapati, master, ruler, governor, leader of us all. We are the Ganas. We are that group that Pati is ruling over. Do we want to be drawn into his fold, or do we want to go astray? And Swami continuously is very beautifully encouraging us and inspiring us to stay in the fold. But some of us deliberately want to stay away because of our ego. And that ego separates us from God. From Saraswati, we get Saraswati. Saraswati now means an offering to, for, where we prostrate to this flow of energy. This continuous flow of energy. God's flow of energy is continuously flowing to us, but we cannot grab it. We cannot channel to it because of the obstacles in life. And the moment we feel the separation, we feel the pain and pangs of everything we have to go through in life. This beautiful word, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Guru Bhyo is Guru Bhyaha, which is actually a plural. There are many gurus, right? But all that guru is encased in one Satguru. That we salute in reverence. We obey, we prostrate, we bow to. And Namaha also would mean not mine. There's nothing in this physical world that we can ever take after we close our eyes, after we breathe our last. So why do we spend so much of time nurturing that? Our guru has come on earth, taught us by example as man. He would come in any form that's highest in that yuga. Human is the highest in that yuga, endowed with manas, the thinking mind. And so Swami came thinking that we can actually think and reason, gave us all these beautiful nectarine gems for us to put forward in life so that we can journey this life comfortably. That's how much he loves us. In his divine presence, more so now you feel his presence because you have to delve within. Because Swami, God, whatever name you would call him, is within and without. And he will dispel that ignorance and our attachment and really show us the path, but we have to believe in it. And eventually, brothers and sisters, we should actually attain this by the end of our lifetime, or even births from now. This is the ultimate Sachidananda, being, awareness, bliss, absolute. Our awareness has to be rooted in the supreme consciousness continuously. If these roots are uprooted, then we find that we are going wayward. We have no balance, no direction in life. This is the only truth, and that is the supreme consciousness. I would like to eventually conclude this energizing extract from the mantra Ganapati Prarthana. Swami says, and what a beautiful way to end. It's just Swami's words are so beautiful that one cannot even doubt it. It's the gospel truth. It is the Veda itself. Every human must revere the Vedas. Why? Because it is our Bible. Why? It is eternal echoes. Why? It is the voice of God. Who can ignore that? It is the very foundation of our life. Foundation meaning if we don't have that foundation, we're going to sit on rocky ground and feel the turbulence, all the tornadoes of our life, all the tsunamis of our life, all the hurdles in our life. According to Swami, the Vedas is the foundation. Every act, not one act, not two acts, every act of our daily life has its roots in the Vedas. So it's not your duties as a family person, as a convener, as a worker, as a sadhana aspirant. Every facet of our life has to be rooted in the Vedas. Everyone must regard it as his foremost duty, not second, third, fourth, last duty, not when you're a brahmachari only, not when you are a yutika, not when you are engaging in vanaprastha, not, especially not when you're a sannyasi, you're reaching your last stage of your life. When you say, that's sannyasi, then I can focus on God, it'll never happen. It has to start from the time the child is born. The mother and father must nurture this. That love for God. That is our foremost duty to introduce this to the child. You know, in the ancient times, it's still happening in India, where the parents actually entrust the child in the Gurukula, to the guru, to the earthly guru, right? And when that child is ready to leave and go into the open world, to face life and take all the teachings and put it into practice, that child has been joined to his guru through the spiritual umbilical cord. It's called Dvija, second birth. First birth is through the mother's umbilical cord. She's been given the proxy by God to create life, to give birth. The spiritual master also gives birth to spiritual life to a child he has nurtured. Swami, none other but Swami, is that Sadguru, that guru that has given birth to us and shown us in every possible way the spiritual path. And he says, it's our foremost duty to work for the revival of the Vedas, because he said, his words, in the next 10 or 20 years, this knowledge will be lost if we do not propagate it. So brothers and sisters, whether you believe it or not, we have, each one of us, the fact that we are delving into the scriptures and the mantras, we have a higher purpose in life. We have to grab this opportunity and thank God most graciously that he's drawn us into this path. And he's saying, live the Vedic way of life. So if you wondered what life you should lead, if you have ever wondered and you were confused what path you should lead, here it is. It's imperative. He says, live the Vedic way of life. There's no other way. Swami has given us the answer. He says all the secrets of creation is in the Vedas. Do we want to find it? Or do we always sit and always be confused? Do we always want to go to every Tom, Dick, and Harry to give us an answer? When Swami is guiding us, trust and have faith in that. Let's honor Swami by perpetuating the Vedas. Our master, our guru, our leader, our Swami. For that, brothers and sisters, love to each one of you on this path. It is a sunlit path. It is a love-lit path, lit already by Swami that we are treading. Jai Shri Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram, Sister Lingus and team. I just wanted to say that Sister Lingus did such a profound job. It was so intense and so full of meaning, so beautiful and interesting. We could actually go on listening to you, Sister Lingus. We know Swami has given birth to us, and Swami wants us to work for the revival of the Vedas. Very well done. Somebody was saying something. Do we go on to a quiz now? Thank you, Sister Lingus. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much, Sister Lingus. So we have one more quiz. So the question is, what does Mother Saraswati symbolize? So is it A, the spirit of sacrifice? Is it B, the flow of water? Is it C, the flow of consciousness? or is it D, the removal of sins? So the poll should be visible to everyone right now. I will read the question again. So what does Mother Saraswati symbolize? Is it A, the spirit of sacrifice, B, the flow of water, C, the flow of consciousness, or D, the removal of sins? So it does look like most of our devotees have answered, and yes, the right answer is C, the flow of consciousness. So now we proceed to the question and answer section. So if you have any questions, please do either raise your hand or you can type in the chat box, and Sister Lingus or Auntie Mano will take the questions. So while we wait for questions to come through, so something which is quite a notable fact about either whether we call him Lord Ganesha, Vinayaka, Ganapati, is his vehicle, so known as Mushika Vahana, which is the mouse. So if you think about it, what does this mouse represent? Swami says that this mouse represents darkness, which is that symbol of ignorance, because mouses always move in the dark, and Ganapati or Lord Ganesha is regarded as controlling this mouse, or controlling that darkness of ignorance, controlling his vehicles. So similarly, how we control our vehicles, whether we're driving to the shops or we're driving anywhere. And that also brings another quote to mind of Swami, which is start early, drive slowly, and reach safely. And something which Auntie Lingus touched on was that about starting early, whether it's with your sadhana, starting early in the spiritual journey, and then driving slowly, and then reaching safely, reaching that state of Satchit Ananda. So something which is also quite apt for tomorrow, which is Guru Purnima. So the word Guru, Gu meaning ignorance, and Ru meaning destroyer. So Guru meaning that who destroys or dispels darkness or ignorance, removing that darkness and delusion like from the heart, and helping us on that journey, whether we to obviously love everyone, to spread love. And it's so relatable. It's so relatable for Guru Purnima that we're speaking on the Ganapati Prarthana, where Lord Ganesha, or Ganapati in this case, is the remover of that darkness, dispelling ignorance, controlling his Mushika Vahana. So I just thought that was something to add. I don't see any more questions as yet, or any raised hands. Does anyone have any questions, whether it's from pronunciation, meaning, or if you'd like to share anything?
Anybody? We still have time. Well, I think it was an evening well spent, the 1 hour well spent, because we learned so much. And to think that we're just chanting the Ganapati Prarthana and we're not aware of the meaning. The same applies to any other Vedic chant, for instance. Therefore, the meanings are so important. And I'm glad that this has been recorded. So it's a good thing for reference and for others who could not make it to actually listen to it and learn.
So maybe something else which is also quite interesting is when Auntie Mano, when you spoke on the awareness, being aware, as most of us aren't aware, for instance, when we're chanting or whether we're living our lives on a daily basis, is that whether it's a live body or a dead body, both have senses, but the main difference is in a dead body, they have senses. For instance, there's ears, there's a mouth, there's nose, but then a dead body can't hear, a dead body can't speak, a dead body can't smell. And to think like on our daily basis, we go on with life, whether it's chanting, whether it's driving, whether it's sleeping, there is that divine consciousness. It just gives us a different perspective of looking, for instance, when we do chant. And once again, Swami saying that the Vedas are universal, and how Auntie Lingus touched on it being a divine consciousness, whether we refer to it as Swami, whether we refer to it as Allah, whether we refer to it as Jesus, is that the Vedas are universal. So independent of caste, creed, religion, it's really interesting to see how the Vedas, which for us Hindus, we do think, okay, it's just Lord Ganesha, but it's going beyond just Hinduism. And also for Mother Saraswati, it's not just Mother Saraswati, a lady in a white sari with a veena, but it's going beyond, seeming that flow of consciousness. So everyone having that consciousness, or every living being having that consciousness. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to both Auntie Mano and Sister Lingus for sharing, for taking us through the Ganapati Prarthana, taking us through the meaning, through the inner significance. It definitely is going to change our perspective. Thank you to Sister Deepika for the introduction. So now, since there aren't any questions or nobody would like to share anything further, we can go to the closing prayers. Unless Auntie Lingus or Auntie Manu, you want to share anything else?
I just think
Yeah, carry on.
it's okay.
Carry
Sister,
on.
oh, you can.
I was just wanting to say to the house that when we got this topic at first, and I realized that it was such a big thing, and how will we pull it off? Because now technologically I can't do all those things. I always get someone to help me, and we were getting into a panic. Even Sister Lingus, we were getting into a little bit of a panic. Even yesterday, we were worried about we're going to spend 1 hour, and how are we going to spend that 1 hour? And we're looking at lives. But then today, when Lingus took us through by Swami's loving grace, she had so much of inner significance, the beautiful material, that the beautiful meaning that she brought in, the intense, beautiful meaning, will never ever leave us. When we are chanting this Ganapati Prarthana, it's gonna now have a new meaning for us. Thank you so much. Sister Lingus, you wanted to comment on something?
Sister Manu, you've done an exceptional job, and I really appreciate all the input. And it was wonderful to hear your views, and definitely inspiring. And also, Brother Kashian, thank you for being such a wonderful host and guiding us through. Yes, it was a bit of that because my week was so tight. I didn't think how I was ever going to put this in. And I just had a few hours of today to actually put this together, just today. So, but in the meantime, as I lay in bed in the night and I asked Swami, what should I do? My week is so tight. And all of these things started flowing. And so I just put it down. I started putting it down, and this is how it actually manifested. It's Swami's ideas that he had given me while just lying down and asking him in the early hours and in the evening what I should do. But also, I think also that, the time has come to move, if we are ready to move away from concrete aids. It's like when we're in grade R, you need your ice cream sticks to count and so on. And then there comes a time in life like Swami came in concrete form, there comes a time in life when we have to delve within. So all of these murtis and the statues and the pictures, Swami says they're pictorial depictions. Swami did say that. And I remember when I was faced with, yes, Swami, it's this God and that God and that God, and what should we do? Because, and then Swami gave the answer. And I read it in one of his books. And he says, we get so confused. Take one focus and just build on that energy. And from that day, that is what I decided to do. And I do know now and then that this is such a beautiful path that Swami has set us on, because I could really understand why Swami has said that. We may fall, we may falter along this path, but always remember that He's there to pick us up if we let Him, if we allow Him. Don't let the mind guide us otherwise. The mind is no guide at all. If the mind takes its fueling from the intellect, and the intellect takes its fueling from the Atma, I don't think we'll ever go wrong. So yes, so we'll complete this evening's slot with Swasti Bachika, Swasti meaning well-being, well-being. And this whole mantra is about our well-being, the Ganapati Prarthana. And here too, it's about the subjects, the people, and our happiness and our joy. So let's end with this beautiful mantra. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantan न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषा को ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु. May there be prosperity to the subjects. The rulers protecting the world in a lawful manner. May the cows and brahmanas have auspicious eternally. May all the people be prosperous. May the rains shower in the proper season. May the earth be prosperous with abundant crops. May the country be free from distress. And may the brahmanas be fearless. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.